Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing my February wrap-up. So for once, this might actually be short, but out of all of the books that I read this month, only one of them I actually haven't already spoken about in a video. I'm going to talk about them from my lowest rating of the month to my highest rating, but the books that I've already spoken about, I will link all of those videos down below. And also, once again, I do use Callpile, which is a rating system created by Gia Book Roast. I will leave her video down below. And I'm going to just put the numbers on the screen. So Callpile stands for characters, atmosphere, writing, plot, intrigue, logic, and enjoyment. So I mark it on all of those things from 1 to 10, and then in the spreadsheet that G created, it tells you what rating it should come out as then.
In February, I read 3,235 pages across 8 books, which was 26 hours of audiobooks. I read 1 classic, 1 contemporary, 4 fantasy, 1 historical fiction, and 1 romance. I read 5 adult books, 2 YA books, and 1 middle grade book. For star ratings, I gave 3 4 stars, 3 3 stars, 1 2 star, 1 1 star, which was an average of 3 stars, which isn't great. For format, I read 6 ebooks and 2 which were a mix of audio and physical.
So my lowest rated book of the month was Wicked, The Life and Times of the Wicked Witch of the West by Gregory Maguire. It is the story which inspired Wicked the musical, and I did not enjoy it whatsoever. I ended up giving it a 1 out of 5 stars. This I actually spoke about already because I did a video where I was reading musical books. So I will definitely leave that link down below for you to check it out and for you to get my full thoughts on this book. So as I said, it's a 1 star for me. I just really didn't like it, and it is definitely completely different to the musical, but that's not why I didn't like it. My main problems with it was just the writing style. I really didn't like how it was written. That was my main problem with it, but I just didn't really like the story whatsoever. The plot was very messy at times, and the characters were not fully developed. I don't think anything in this story was fully developed, and I feel like the book was both too long and too short, because it was too long because it just dragged on and on at some points, and then it was too short because I feel like nothing was fully developed. The characters weren't. I didn't feel anything towards Elphaba really. I did like her wit and her sharp tongue that she had. I don't think any of the side characters were fully developed, and I don't think the plot was fully developed either. So yeah, all in all, that was just a really big letdown for me, and it was a 1 out of 5 star. So then the next book I'm going to talk about is A Winter's Promise by Christelle DeBose. So I read this for Polarthon, which again I have a vlog for that, which I will leave linked down below. This was a 2 star. My main problem with A Winter's Promise was, again, it was a pretty messy world building, I think. I really don't like these kind of worlds where they're mixing old with new, I suppose. It's in the future, but somehow we've gone back to olden times while still having all this technology, and I don't really like that kind of world building, and that was definitely present in this one. They were all wearing gowns, and it was a very patriarchal society, and everyone was so sexist. But there was phones and there was airplanes, and I did not like any of the characters. Supposedly we're supposed to like Thorn, who's the love interest, which he was just so unlikable, and he did nothing to help our main character Ophelia, and Ophelia was such an annoying main character. She's not like other girls, and I just really wanted, because she has a unique gift, and I just really wanted her to take everything into her own hands. Only a 2 out of 5 stars. I just wasn't the biggest fan, and I don't think I will continue the series, but I've heard the second one is also really good. So then the next one that I'm going to talk about is The Prom by Sandra Mitchell, and this is another one I read for the musical book vlog. It was a very low 3 star, but I did still think it deserved to be in the 3 star category. It was an important story, and it had some really beautiful and touching moments, but again, like Wicked, the thing that really brought the score down for me was the writing style. It's just about these 2 girls who want to go to prom together, and it is a very sweet story, but as I said, the writing style drove me crazy. I liked the characters, and I liked the 2 main characters. I liked their relationship, but what really brought the score down for me was the writing style, as I said, and that is because you could tell this was written by a much older person who hasn't been a teen in a while and is just kind of guessing, I guess, off the internet what teenagers are like, and they were wrong. No teenager acts like that or speaks like that. there was just a lot of like abbreviations in the way they spoke. Like they were like T Swift, and I'm like, I don't think anyone says that anymore. They haven't in like 5 years. There was a lot of pop culture references, as if like the author was trying to prove, I know what the kids are doing, and I'm like, that's not necessary. That's really not necessary. And so then the next 3-star I had was The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. This is the last one that I read for the musical vlog. Well, actually it was the first one I read for the musical vlog, but it's the highest rated. So again, that's linked down below if you want my full thoughts. But I was actually pleasantly surprised. I'm not the biggest fan of classics. I've never given one above a 3-star, and this was a very high 3-star. And if the ending hadn't dragged on so much, it probably would have managed to be a 4-star. But yeah, the ending, it just really dragged, and so that's kind of what brought it down. As I said, I was definitely very pleasantly surprised by this. I didn't really like a lot of the characters, but I kind of put that down to when it was written. I did quite enjoy Christine. She had her moments. She still is kind of annoying and very naive, but I think that's just part of her character anyway. But she did definitely have some moments that I was like, yes, you go girl, where she was like, hey, I don't need to get married if I don't want to, which I think the author was trying to paint that as a bad thing. Raoul, which the story is mostly told from his perspective, he is such an annoying character because he is very, oh, woe is me, I'm the victim of this story, everyone is against me, Christine is interested in another man, how terrible for me. But this man is like, you know, traumatizing Christine, how bad for me. And yeah, so he's quite annoying. And then the Phantom of the Opera is an absolute edgelord. I really just wanted Christine to run away and live her best life by herself, but it was fine. I did quite enjoy the story. It is very easy to read and it is very accessible if you're nervous about reading it because it's a classic. I did quite enjoy the story, especially the first half. I thought it was very fun and fast-paced and interesting. And then, as I said, it did definitely kind of drag on during the second half because there was this whole tangent about the managers and their 20,000 francs and them being pickpocketed. And honestly, it felt absolutely useless to the story. And then I had one more 3-star for the month, and that was The Banishing Half by Britt Bennett. A very complicated story, and I have very complicated feelings on it because objectively, it's very good. And the writing is very good. The writing is beautiful, but like for me personally and my enjoyment, it's not a story for me. But I heard so much talk about it, so I decided to give it a go. And I did enjoy it. It's still a 3-star, and a 3-star is a good rating for me. But I just felt that it definitely wasn't the story for me. And I wish I had my Goodreads review in front of me because I think I put it much better there. The characters, they were really interesting, and the writing, it was really beautiful, but I don't think the slow family drama over different generations kind of story, I don't think that appeals to me personally, but I'm glad that I figured that out. I'm obviously never saying never, but I still definitely enjoyed it, and yeah, and I definitely would recommend it to the majority of people. Now on to my 4-stars. So the first 4-star I read was Frostheart by Jamie Lischler. This is a middle grade story which follows Ash. He was left in this place where he's living by his parents, and he's never seen his parents again. And he is a song weaver, so he can like speak to these like monsters kind of through song, but they're all very afraid of this gift. And so one day Ash accidentally reveals that he has this ability, and then he has to leave, and he goes off on the Frostheart with all their crew to kind of go on a bit of an adventure. And this was a 4 on the dot. Any lower it would have been 3. I can barely remember my feelings on this. Again, this was one that I read for Polarthon. I enjoyed the story and I enjoyed the characters and all of that, but I did sometimes find Ash was a frustrating character because he did things that I just didn't agree with. But then I was like, he is a child, I have to give him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of children would be like, oh, I don't want to do what this adult is telling me. So I had to kind of just be like, he is a child. Is this what a child would do? And then I was kind of like, yeah, this probably is what a child would do. And again, I thought the story, it was really obvious who the villain was and all of that. I wanted it to be a little more surprising, and obviously I know, again, it is a middle grade, but I don't think that means that you have to make it really obvious who the bad guy is, or like not have like a plot twist in there. But yeah, they made it really obvious who the bad guy was from the start, and that was another one of my main complaints. But other than those kind of two main complaints, I really did enjoy the story, and I thought, again, this is another story that has a found family aspect, which is just so adorable, and it is a really magical story with very unique world building and a very unique power system, which I am sure we'll learn more about in future books, which I plan on continuing. So then the next book, and the second last book I'm going to talk about, is Get a Life of Chloe Brown by Talia Hibbert. I talked about this in, I think I called it Trying to Melt My Icy Heart Reading Romance Vlog or whatever. I will, again, leave that link down below, and this was my favourite book I read for that video. And it was so cute, and it's definitely the kind of romance that I do like. I wasn't the biggest fan of a lot of the books in that vlog, and so this and the Kiss Quotient are the only two that I've given 4 stars so far. So if you have any recommendations like those two, tell me them. I just really loved the banter between the two of them. I think that was definitely the strongest point of this book. They were just so adorable. And I think another thing that I really liked was it wasn't really, I don't think the conflict was really stupid. It was a learning moment for the both of them in their relationship about what they need from each other, I guess. And okay, it was like slightly dramatic, you know, but that's always going to happen in romance books. So I think that's why I really liked it, is because they both learned something from that moment about what they need from each other and what they need the other person to be there for and what they need the other person not to do and all of that. And I think that's why I really liked it. And this follows Chloe. She has fibromyalgia, and since she got diagnosed with this, she has kind of been living a quite lonely, secluded kind of life, taking everything very easy. And then she has a near-death experience. She almost gets hit by a car, but she doesn't. And she kind of sees her whole life flash before her, and she doesn't like what she sees, and she decides to make a bucket list of all of the things she wants to do. And one of those things is move out of home. And so she does that, and she gets off on the wrong foot with her superintendent, I think they call it him in the book. So he's kind of a mix of like manager and maintenance of the place that she's living. And they get off on the wrong foot, and eventually he kind of gets enlisted to help her complete this list, and obviously romance happens, and it is definitely very cute. So then the last book that I'm going to talk about is Spinning Silver, Naomi Novik. Again, this is another 4-star. I have yet to read a 5-star in 2021, but I think that's because Co-Pilot is quite hard to get a 5-star. But honestly, none of the books I read in February were even close to hitting it. At least in January, there was 2 that were kind of close to hitting the 5-star. But yeah, not this month. But anyway, Spinning Silver is a kind of Rumpelstiltskin retelling. We follow 3 different points of view, and I can't remember the time period, but it's like, I don't know, maybe medieval-ish. Miriam, her father is a moneylender, but he is a very bad moneylender because he doesn't get his money back. And one day, Miriam's mother gets sick, and Miriam has had enough. And she goes out and she starts collecting. And through this, she catches the attention of the Star Kick or something. I can't remember what it's called. But I guess it's kind of nearly this like fae person. And he basically tells her to turn silver into gold 3 times. And if she does, she will become his queen, and if she doesn't, he will kill her basically. And she doesn't really want either of those options. I for some reason thought that like the story was just going to be like the Rumpelstiltskin part, but there's actually like a whole like second half nearly to it after that, and things got really intense in that part. I really enjoyed the story. I really enjoyed the characters and the way all of these girls kind of took things into their own hands, because obviously they're growing up in a time where the men are in charge, and all of these girls through their own situations and all of that, they take things into their own hands, and I really enjoyed that, and I did really like the atmosphere. It was very wintry and it was very magical, and the descriptions of like this magical, nearly fairy-like world were so beautiful. The biggest letdown in here was the writing, and it's not that I didn't like the writing. I did actually really enjoy the writing. It's just the point of views were so hard to differentiate. They all were the exact same, and you would have to get however many paragraphs in before you discovered who was speaking. And like, this could, number one, be solved by either A, which is a much bigger thing of changing, giving them all kind of different voices, or B, literally just putting the name of who it is at the start of the chapter. That definitely brought it down, and that definitely also kind of hindered my enjoyment of it, because it was very hard to get into it when I was trying to figure out who was speaking. Overall, I really enjoyed the plot and I really enjoyed the characters, and I just had a really good time with it. So those are all of the books that I read in February. So it was an okay reading month. Nothing spectacular. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye!